Hello, everyone. I'm Larry Ridley. You're tuned into the NFL on EA Sports. The winding road to the Super Bowl continues here in the divisional round, where two teams look to take another step towards the Super Bowl. It's the Texans going up against the Raiders. With that, we'll get you out to Oakland, as we'll hand it over to our colleagues, Brandon.
Of the NFL brings us to the Bay Area as we welcome you to Oakland, California. We've got an AFC battle on tap between the Houston Texans and the Oakland Raiders. They come up and it all set off. Now the first carry for Ezekiel Elliott. Gets this to the 24 for a gain of 4. And the big boys up front in the trenches. What do you think of the O-line, Charles?
I love them because this is a group that's so cohesive. They know what the man next to them is going to do at all times, and they operate as a terrific unit.
See if they stay on the ground for second down.
Alert! Alert!
Now let's go! Again, it's Elliott. It's a 6-yard run, leaves him with about a foot or so here still to go to hit the marker with third down coming up. And that looked like some pretty easy yardage there right up the gut.
And he's a guy that has some height to him, so when you don't have to drop a shoulder or create or get through contact or trash, makes it a lot easier to stay upright, see the field, and make a run as we just saw there.
An early test for this defense. Here we go on 3rd and inches.
All right, here we go.
And they'll let their fullback try to push the pile. And he's going to get to the 31, enough for the first down. Coach hinted to us that we may see some old power football here in this game. We got a taste of it on that first down run.
I love how he hinted it to us, and then when we were watching practice, we were watching what they call inside drill with the offensive and defensive line.
Here we go.
And they kept putting more defenders on the other side and saying, block that. I don't care how many guys are in there. I want to run the football this week. And boy, that has paid off for them in this game.
A first down carry by Elliott. And now they're going to get him down right at the line of scrimmage. Officially no gain on the play, and it's second down. The defensive crew for the Texans. Here's a look.
Fletcher Cox is a first-round pick who has fulfilled his promise. One of the best defensive linemen in the NFL.
So they're still at the original line of scrimmage here. Second down and 10.
What you got? What you got, Heavy? What you got, Heavy?
Here we go now. 3-19.
Here we go.
3-19.
Play action. It's Lynch. And a quick throw here. That's complete. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders, hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or
better against man, because now you're running away from someone and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
You got three down.
Set. Blue 90. No. Check. Patriot.
Check hot route. Hot.
There we go now. Blue 90 now, Barney.
Watch the twist.
All right, here we go. 3-19.
They'll pitch it out to Elliott. Trying to turn the corner, but he's going to be stopped right near the line of scrimmage. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
A 1-yard gain could look like a disaster, but it all depends on how the game is going. Is it a series of 1-yard gains running the ball? If that's the case, you might have to start thinking about throwing it a little bit more. But if it's just the occasional 1-yard run, hey, congratulations to the defense. They won that one. Come back and get them the next time.
Second down, 9 yards to go.
Double tight.
All right, here we go.
They go that way again. And he's going to bull his way forward to the 48. It's a 4-yard pickup there, and it leaves him with 3rd and 5.
If you're a football guy, that's a pretty run because everyone is in sync right there. Obviously, the guy carrying the ball, but how about the people up front? Leverage, athleticism, they created some nice space for him.
Here comes the 7th play of this opening 3rd down.
Now let's go.
From the gun on 3rd down, it's Lynch. And that is
good number of coaches at any time they call an in route are really worried about the play because there's so much traffic ordinarily that the ball has to get through to get to the receiver. And on that play, it was batted down.
Yeah, that is much too long. That's into the end zone for a touchback.
We need to stop right here, defense. Let me hear that crowd. Let's go. Let's go, team. Let's go.
They'll give it to him right up the gut. And he will lose yardage on the play. Back at his own 19-yard line. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down.
Watch left, watch left, watch left. He's tight right there, he's tight right there.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56. Over.
Now a handoff here to his running back. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. It'll be a gain of 11, and that's going to make it third down and less than a yard.
Look, the first down marker is out there, but sometimes it's hard to find for an offense when they're in a long yardage situation, which usually means throw the football. In this case, they went against the tendency and ran it, and boy, the reward was there. A big pickup, and guess what? It's now third and very short in order to try to pick up the first down.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he's able to get it to the 31, and that's enough for the first. Officially a gain of just a yard there, but they do convert on 3rd and inches.
I always appreciate runners who understand situations. That was just 3rd and inches. No reason to dance around in the backfield and try and break off a bigger play. Just go pick up the first down, and that's exactly what he did.
Single.
Watch it now, Barney.
They'll look to throw here on first down. And his throw's going to be incomplete. And here's the offense today that hopes to get off to a strong start. And on 2nd and 10 now.
Got double tight. Out. 3 down.
All right, here we go. Blue 90.
And they'll go on the ground. And he'll be tackled just past the 35 at the 36. It'll be a pickup of 5, and that leaves him with 5 more. 3rd and 5 now. And that linebacker group today could be very key.
As we were preparing for this game, you pointed out to me as we were watching film that the linebackers look like an elite unit. I agree with you totally. They move around, fly to the football, and take it away from offenses.
And the offense in that middle ground here on 3rd down. 5 yards to go.
Now let's go.
Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. A big 30-yard play on 3rd.
Now that play will end up on the highlights, and you'll see it all over the place. But what you won't see, the offensive line that bought the extra time, that allowed for the big completion downfield, those guys made that play possible.
And here comes play number 6 on this drive.
Hurry up, here we go. No. Check. Patriot. Black 99 Philly. No. Check.
Now a play fake here on first down. Finding time. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Well, they go play fake. The problem is nobody was faked out.
And when no one's faked out, what's the end result? Quarterback gets hit.
Strong left. I'm coming after you.
Hurry up, here we go. Watch it now, Barney.
Check 99.
Black 99 Philly. Here we go.
Now they'll throw here. Out of the gun. He's got time. Going for the deep ball. And this is caught. And he's in. Touchdown, Houston. A great effort there. 40 yards. yards. And the Texans have taken the early lead.
And that's another route the defenders would vote to take out of the game.
A real route?
Oh, without a doubt. You're just trying to move everybody in one direction. And whether it's a running back or another receiver, as they zip out on the sideline, you've got a problem on your hands.
Yeah, well, the defenders hate it there. It happened, and it resulted in a touchdown. This will be taken in at the 1. And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line. Back here with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. We've had the kickoff to begin the first quarter. Now it's time for the second quarter kickoff as they'll take over with the ball 1st and 10. And now Oakland ready to take the field. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it. Everything looked right on that play except the conclusion. He dropped it. An in route, going into a little bit of traffic. Maybe in the back of his mind, he was wondering where the hit was going to come from.
So the incomplete pass brings up 2nd down. Again on 2nd and 10, it's Lynch. And he's going to find his man out of the backfield. That's complete. And a nice gain of 21 yards. And that's one of his advantages of a passer, is it not? With his height, setting back there in the pocket, firing it over the middle, he can really see everything clearly.
It is, and I know that other quarterbacks get it done different ways, all right? You don't have to be his height to make a great play. But what he does is he takes away having to make those slide steps in the pocket, find angles to throw the ball through. He just throws right over the top of it because he can see everything, and sometimes that saves time and gets the ball to a receiver quicker.
Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd down. Well, they know how to protect the pass, but sometimes cornerbacks, they can also stop the run, can't they?
Is that what we call a complete corner? Yeah, because we're so used to these guys just being defenders in the pass game. How about the guys who can come up and make the tackles? That's what we just saw there for no gain, too.
Ten yards still left on 2nd down.
Tight ends on the Lucy. Tight ends on the Lucy.
One man in the backfield, Elliott.
Leopard!
He'll get it running right. Pushing forward for 3 up to the 48.
Well, I think we know by now that every run is not going to be broken and get all the way to the end zone. But these short ones still have their value. You can still set up your play action and throw the football. You control the clock because you have the ball and they don't. And often the physicality sets the tempo for the game.
Here we go. Tight right. Hurry up, here we go. Blue, landing.
On 3rd down, Lynch going up top. Incomplete. He had his hands on it but couldn't pick it. But it's now 4th down.
One of the toughest things about playing defensive back is pattern reading, trying to figure out what they're doing. And on that one, they had the fly, just sending a guy downfield with the in route accompanying it, what people call a dagger route, trying to get the guy underneath after the clear out. In this case, though, they're not able to get it done.
Yeah, they said forget the underneath route. They went for the guy on the fly, but as you said, incomplete. And now out comes Houston. And they were able to punch it in the end zone last time. They'll be looking to do that again here for the defense. Obviously, they'll be looking to stop them from punching it back in the end zone.
It always is punch-counter-punch, isn't it? And which team has the advantage? Well, let's just go back. Last time on offense, they rolled downfield, got into a good rhythm. You can see a little more bounce in and out of the huddle. You can see the sideline really get into the game. So defensively, you think to yourself, how do we take that away from them? How do we get the advantage back? Let's see what they come up with. I think pressure is always the first way to go.
And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And he's in for the score. And his spectacular season continues as he ties the NFL touchdown record.
He is phenomenal.
They blitzed defensively there, but he was able to slip through that first layer, and then he was gone.
I think they won the leverage game, didn't they?
Yes.
Right? They saw the blitz coming. That got to him a little bit, but they leveraged it perfectly and found not just a crease, a gigantic hole. And off he goes, and he's still going all the way to the end zone.
And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. And now Oakland ready to take the field. And down on the scoreboard, certainly needing to avoid what happened on the last drive, punting the football.
Sense of urgency has to take over for them here. They know the score. They know the situation. And by the way, the ball no longer exists in their offense. That's how they have to treat this drive.
They need points.
Big time.
5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down.
Now that's exactly what you want on a first down run. Pick up 5 yards, bring up 2nd and 5. The defensive line, though, they've got to figure out a way to out-leverage the guys up front because the offensive line is winning at the point of attack.
2nd down following the run.
Check, tight right, tight right, tight right. Solo out there, check the outs out there.
Set! Green, 39!
And tough going there as he'll only get it up to about the 31. It'll only be a gain of a yard, and it sets up a 3rd down and 4 now.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense, and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
To throw is Lynch. And he finds a man with a crossing route. And he's going to have a first down as he's brought down at the 44-yard line.
Would it be safe to say that as precise as routes are supposed to be run in the NFL, maybe they're not quite as precise in college ball?
That's accurate, yeah.
And I think we saw a college route in the NFL there. Just find the soft spot, find the dead zone, and find the first down. And that's what he just did.
Backing up. Oh, hit as he throws there, incomplete.
You gotta give some credit. They're able to hop up in the air and bat that one away. And that's frustrating for an offensive lineman because the only recourse is when he goes in the air to try and get some type of a pop or a shove, hoping to bring his arms down.
Offense still needing 10 yards. 2nd down. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. 2nd and 10. It's Lynch again. Going down the middle, and it's complete. And he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. Well, clearly one of his advantages as a passer is his height. Sit back in the pocket, fired over the middle. That makes things tougher defensively, doesn't it?
It really does because your goal is to move the quarterback off his initial spot when he gets his drop back completed. But when you have that type of height, he can stay in there. If he's willing to take the hits and just fire over the top, which saves him time and actually completes a play a little bit quicker than it normally does for a quarterback who has to slide and find open space to throw.
And now a first down following that long gain.
Set! 3-19!
On first down, it's Lynch. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down. Offense looking to avoid a 3rd and long. It's 2nd and 10. One man on the backfield. Play action. Lynch fighting. He fumbles. He lost the football. But I think the Raiders are going to be able to hold on to it. Yes.
On plays like this, when the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is a quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from it. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
Detroit! Check 26!
Now Paxton Lynch on 3rd and long. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
Putting pressure on the guy throwing the football is always good, but when you can couple that with contact on him that leads to an incompletion, as we just saw there, that's winning football.
So on is Jason Myers. He's hit from as long as 58 in his career. This will be spotted just shy of midfield, a 59-yard attempt. And they're not going to get the snap off. This might back him out of field goal range. Here's the Raiders punter now as he's on to kick it away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. And a bit of a mistake there. This is well into the end zone for a touchback. And now out comes Houston. And they hit the home run last drive. One play on the ground all the way to the house. Now the defense, maybe they're expecting a run here.
Partner, I love your description because when we talk about hitting the home run, we're usually thinking about a passing play, aren't we? Something in the air, deep ball.
Let's go!
But big-time John. Now if you're coming back out, now they've established this run game, the play-action pass could very well be open.
And it drops down incomplete. Thought he might have had it. Instead, second down.
And when all else fails as a defender, when you're not there in the coverage, your best friend is exactly what we saw there. A big play shot taken by the offense. Unfortunately, it ended in a big drop.
So 2nd and 10 here.
Double tight, double tight. Out. 3 over.
And he'll give it here to his running back. And he will lose yardage on the play. Back at his own 19-yard line. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play. And that'll bring up a 3rd and 11 situation.
Watch the run.
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. And he's got his man on the out route. And he will have a first down as they get him to the ground at the 37. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. Back with more AFC playoff action after this timeout. So here we go, 1st and 10 now.
Come on, y'all, let's go. Get up. Get on your feet.
All right, here we go. Back 99 Philly, here we go.
They go play action here on 1st down. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
Not too many things get to a quarterback of this magnitude, but I think it's safe to say that pressure can get to any quarterback.
Now, he's obviously a great franchise quarterback, but felt the pressure, threw it incomplete. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage.
4 down. Alert.
Here we go now. Green 39.
Mike by
Green 39.
And 2nd and 10, he'll look to throw again. And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down.
Slant route's effective no matter who's running the route and catching the ball. But when you have a receiver of that stature, you have to be a little bit more precise throwing it. You don't have the same catch radius with the bigger targets.
Tight is Ringo. Tight is on Ringo.
All right, now, look at 56. Look
They
at
come
56.
out here in
Here we
the
go
eye.
now. Green 39.
Going to give this time to the tailback. Calling no gain there, and it leads to a 4th down.
Great job, D.
Now whistles, and the Raiders are going to signal for a timeout. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. On 4th down, here's Pat McAfee to kick it away. And now a high kick trying to pin him back. It'll be a net of 40 yards there following a 43-yard punt, 3-yard return, and the Raider drive will start from deep in their own territory with a 1st and 10. One receiver left, 3 to the right. They snap it at one. Now it's Lynch. He's going to launch this thing way down. He rifles one that's intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off. And he will return this one to the 30-yard line. And the Texans set to come onto the field. They're out in front. Last time they had to punt it away. We'll see if they can add to their lead now.
They don't want to go out and punt it away again. This team now wants to get a cushion, put people away. They want to run their offense and have it end up in the end zone.
And a great spot to start this drive from here. They'll come out in the pistol.
Detroit! Detroit! No. Check. Patrick!
Again, we'll see the
Here we go.
pistol here.
Philly, here we go.
And now here's a carry heading left. Uses the stiff arm. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball. But when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
And after the play on the ground, that brings up second down here.
Hey, four down. Set!
Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. Open man is Uzama. It's a gain of 4 there, and it gives him a new set of downs. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. You can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure.
Here we go.
Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out and ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
The loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down. Well, they try to swing it out left into the flat, complete, but really nice open field tackling.
And they played that one like a great boxer. They were on their toes on that one. They weren't back on their heels reacting to the play. No, they saw it, came right for it, and made a nice tackle for lost yardage.
Second down and a little ways to go here. Second and 13. One receiver left, 3 to the right.
Now let's go.
From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. Surveying the field. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete. They got pressure there and only rushing 3.
And there's a defensive coordinator right now who is celebrating not just getting home with 3 there, but realizing if that's the type of pressure he can get in the entire game, then his pass defense is going to be excellent. You're dropping 8. Where are you going to go with the football?
Another pistol look here.
Hurry up, here we go. Ooh, down there. Detroit, here we go. Look at 56. Green, 56. Green, 39.
They'll give it to him right up the gut. And they'll get him down right. Now the Raiders are going to use another timeout here. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. Now the Texans are going to call on the field goal unit. From the left hash, this from 37. And his kick is good. And the lead will grow. It's now 17-0. It's a little bit of time left here in the second quarter, but they get the field goal near the end of the first half to expand that lead.
Yeah, that's got to feel good, but they can't let up. Now on the kickoff, they've got to make sure they don't give up a big return or big yardage to set up the other team for one last chance to score themselves.
And now Oakland ready to take the field. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
Tight end left.
They come up in an empty set. 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end. And this is going to be intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half. Heading out as the Texans offense as they get set to take over here. And from this spot in the field with the clock where it's at, you think we're just going to see a knee and that's it?
And I think in this situation, that's the proper play.
Double tight.
But we do know there's some risk takers out there that may want to take one more shot before the clock runs out.
And with time running down, they go down to a knee. So it's on to halftime in this AFC divisional round matchup. Jeez, they don't even want to let their guys get a drink of water. All right, third quarter, let's get to it. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively.
The evaluation process in today's NFL does not take into account as much bulk as it does speed, and that's what we're seeing with the linebacker position. Those guys that can run, they can play at any spot because they can make plays on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage.
It's already 2nd and 12. The defense hoping to push them back more. They come out here in the eye.
Here we go now. No. Check. Patriot. No. Check. Patriot. Here we go. Check. Patriot.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. 4 yards on the pickup there, and now they're left with a 3rd and 8.
In my book, that's running the ball well, but with intelligence. How about him keeping the clock moving, staying in bounds?
Yeah, even though it's the third quarter, you're thinking ahead, aren't you? This is where your running game can really help you with a lead in the second half.
I agree totally. It's not just end-of-the-half situations that you worry about the clock. It's
Here we go
throughout
now.
the game. With the lead, stay in bounds. Make them fight harder to try and catch you.
And he will find his man on the end route, complete. And he's going to have a first down as he's brought down at the 44-yard line.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-arm guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
Hey, we got tight ends left. 3 down. Here we go now. 3-19.
Now a handoff here to his running back. And for one of the few times here today, this run's not going to go anywhere. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
That was a really nice play, be able to stack that one up. When they get back in the huddle, he's got to tell his guys up front, great job. They kept people off of him, allowed him to run free, and make the hit on the runner.
Filled the gap nicely, kept him to just a 1-yard gain.
Back 39.
And they'll go with the ground attack here. And for one of the few times here today, this run's not going to go anywhere. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up 3rd.
I don't know about you, partner, but I'm rubbing my eyes after that play. Did we just see that runner not get yardage? A big-time play by the defense. It does happen occasionally, even against the best running backs who are having big days.
Left coming.
So here we go now. An extra defensive back in there on 3rd and 10. Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Looking left side, he's got it. Complete. And he's got the first before he's brought down at the 39-yard line. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful you're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front. Defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
They'll give it to him right up the gut. And he'll be stopped up quickly here at the 38. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
The best defensive linemen, they play with great leverage so they can get low and not get bowled over by offensive linemen. They have excellent hands. They can throw people off on a play. We just saw a great example of a really good run stop by a guy playing the defensive tackle position.
I'm ready now for 2nd and 9.
Watch him now, Barney. Check 43. Hurry up, here we go. 3-19.
And he'll give it here to his running back. And now the rookie's free. And he is into the end zone. And the touchdown record is now all his.
Well, 3 scores in this game. I think that deserves some type of a broad gesture. I know in hockey, there's kind of a hat trick when people throw their hats out on the ice. What about us? What can we do for this guy?
Well, if I'm his teammates, I'm buying him a little steak dinner tonight, right? At least a skirt steak, probably a filet.
Oh, you're going big. I like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, skirt at minimum, filet at maximum.
You can't give the guy a skirt steak. He starts 3 times.
Filet,
there you go.
10 ounce, 16 ounce.
Porterhouse.
Fine. And he'll bring it a few past the 20 to the 23-yard line. Now we take a glance at the offense as they work their way back out for their first possession of the second half. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see what they have planned, because some teams script to start a half. Other teams just go, okay, these are the sequence of plays we want to run. These things work well for us. And sometimes they throw in that big chunk play right away.
Shocker.
Try and get after them early and try and create a big play to give themselves some momentum.
See what they have up their sleeve.
Yeah, that wasn't a big run, just a short one there. But guess what? Sometimes you treat it like boxing. You throw that jab out there, and you throw it again, you throw it again, then you come with a big punch later. Maybe they're just trying to set them up.
So the offense looking at a 2nd and 8.
Strong left. Strong left. Here we go now.
On 2nd down, here's Lynch. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. Now it looks like we've got a Raider here, slow to get up. We'll take a break and get a report from Oakland after this. Third down and 1.
Got double tight. Double tight.
They come out here.
Here we go now. 3-19. Watch it now, Barney. Barney.
Check 3.
Over. All right, here we go. Watch it now, Barney. Barney. Hurry up. Here we go. Leopard. Leopard.
You got tight. You got tight right there.
They'll try and run for it with Elliott. Oh, he's got a little daylight. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. And they're able to convert on 3rd with a solid gain of 23.
You got to feel a little bit for the defense there. They've done a terrific job all day long holding this guy in check. But that might have been the run to break things out for him, maybe turn things around. Now he's going to have some confidence and maybe he'll get to his normal yardage.
And now Lynch. And he's got his man out of the backfield. That's complete. And he takes it all the way down to the 3. It's a big play there for Oakland. 42 yards.
Two tights.
They come out with 1 back and 3 tight ends. They'll try to run it in with Elliott. And this one will wind up with him losing yardage back to the 4-yard line. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
Brandon, that play typifies what we've seen from the offense all day long. They've had no success getting things going. I think for the offensive coordinator, he's got to go to that side of the play sheet that says try something different, try some specials, something they haven't seen all day to try to get this offense kick-started.
They'll try again with Elliott, and he is in. Touchdown, Raiders. Ezekiel Elliott, a 3-yard touchdown run. And the Raiders make some inroads here on that deficit.
All right, here we go. 3-19.
Lynch going to try and throw for it. And no, it falls incomplete. So the 2-point conversion, no good. Protection was great. He had time to set up a campsite. But in the secondary, though, they were ready.
And I think that in most places on the field, if you have that much time to throw the ball, someone's going to shake free and you'll find an open receiver. But condensed near the goal line on a 2-point conversion, all that exit, there's not any extra field. So it kind of closes in on them, and that allows you to cover a little bit better.
Watch it now, Barney. Barney.
Slam.
All right, here we go. Blue line. Back line it up, Philly. Here we go. All right, here we go. Blue line.
And on the ground they go with a running back. And he'll go down right at the 30-yard line. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Frustrating for a defense, energizing for an offense. Finding a way to create that type of yardage in your running game, that'll make the guys carrying the ball very, very happy.
So second and medium, second and 5 now.
Hey. 4 down. Now let's go.
Now a handoff as they run left side. And he'll slip his way up across the 30 to the 32. It'll be a pickup of a couple, and it leaves him with a 3rd and 3.
Well, praise has to go to the guys on the offensive line because they've had a very nice, productive day running the football. How about that poor defensive line? They've been knocked around the entire game, and while they slowed them down on that run, can they continue to do so? Because they haven't had much success throughout this ball game.
Now let's go.
On 3rd and short, they'll try and pick it up through the air. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
Oh, man, for him to be that wide open and drop it, sometimes you have just too much time on your hands, right? You end up thinking way too much, and your hands get shaky.
And, yes, he's a tight end, but that's a catch he should have made. His first punt, 45 yards. This looks good as well. Taking it about the 16. So possession goes over here on the punt, and the Raiders will take possession. Now the Oakland offense heading back onto the field to take over, and they're going to need another score. Got one last time, but still down here.
When you're playing catch-up, every possession becomes crucial, doesn't it? It's vital. Get back out on the field, punch in the end zone again. They know it's not easy, but what they do have going for them, they did score the last time. I think they've got a good formula working.
And what about the defense?
Well, now you're just saying to yourself, okay, we gave up a score last time. What adjustments do we need to make to slow them down now and get the ball back for our own offense? Is it more pressure? Is it more zone? What do they have to do? They're trying to figure that out themselves.
We'll see if they can figure that out right here. Back now in the East Bay. It's Raider football here, but they're on the short side of the scoreboard right now as we begin the 4th. And the offense will be looking to get at least some of this yardage back here. It's 2nd and 12. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. On 2nd down, Lynch. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. A great read, and it's picked off. And they have possession, and they have it at the 38-yard line. And here comes the Texans now. They've got the lead. Last time had to punt it, though. What's the key to this drive?
I think it's leverage.
Leverage.
Big guys up front. You know the motivational speech on the sideline is, guys, give us an opportunity. Protect the passer, create space for our runners, and let's go ahead and get these guys. Low man wins. Let's go do it on this drive.
We'll watch that leverage on this drive.
Here we go. Green. Now, Marty. No. Check. Fresno.
They go play action here on 1st down. Rush coming, and he's taken down. He couldn't get rid of it. He takes a sack for a loss of 6 to bring up 2nd down. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest one is maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. 0 accountability, and a sack resulted.
And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. It's a 6-yard pickup to get him back to the original line of scrimmage with 3rd down coming up. The 4th quarter here, they've got the lead. They want to keep it on the ground. That's what they're doing.
Smart football. Keep the clock grinding. Keep it going. But you got to figure now, they're going to see more people stacked up at the line of scrimmage as they try and bleed it out.
So still a full 10 yards to go here for the offense on 3rd down.
4 down. Check. 4 down. 19. Watch him now, Barney. Gun. No.
And now here's a carry heading left. And able to break 1 tackle. Now whistles, and the Raiders are going to signal for a timeout. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the 4th quarter. So out comes a field goal team now for the 2nd time here today. On the left hash, officially, it's called a 51-yard attempt. And this one is right down the middle. And that will extend their lead even further. So it's 3 more points, and that widens things out even further here in the fourth.
Hey, in this league, you can never have too much. So if you're in range, grab the 3 whenever you can.
And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. And now Oakland ready to take the field. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack him here. And he takes this one just shy of midfield all the way to the 49. That one goes for 24 yards.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get them out in the flat, and let them have a chance to make people miss an open field.
And all the way in. Touchdown, Oakland. Ezekiel Elliott, his second touchdown of the afternoon. And the Raiders get a score closer. He just bumped up his personal stats with a second score, but they still have some ground to make up.
Not terrific for today because of what you just said. They're still down on the scoreboard. But later in the year, when he piles it all up and starts to think about contract time, that's a pretty good deal for him. And I know darn well that you've got him in fantasy football, don't you?
I don't. You always think I appreciate that you think I'm smart enough to have him in fantasy.
Well, you are.
Thanks. And now out comes Houston. And fortunate to get points on the board last time. They had to hit a really long field goal to do so.
The kickers in today's game are so good and so skilled and hit from distances that we almost start to take them for granted, and we can't do that. That's a long field goal that they got 3 points out of. They've got to feel good about that, and they better make sure they love him up because he's helped them out.
Here we go. Now we'll see if that offense can put 6 on the board here. We'll see.
Back 99 Philly, here we go. Gone.
Now play fake here on first down. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Now the Raiders are going to use another timeout here. That's going to be their second. They'll be left with one more plus the 2-minute warning, and we'll be back.
It's our field. It's our field.
One receiver left, 3 to the right. He'll look to throw. And he whips that one incomplete there. Incomplete pass on second down. Let's see what the offense draws up here on third.
All right, here we go.
And they give this time to the tailback. And they're able to bring him down at the 20. Well, 7 yards on the carry there, but now they're staring at fourth down.
But once again, a good example of situational football. That was third and very long, so you know they were guarding against the pass. And when they decided to run the ball, that was okay. Whatever yardage they picked up, as long as they didn't get to the first down marker, the defense was willing to concede, and they stopped them well short of a first down.
He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. And we'll see what he can do on the return. Well, he wasn't too far from breaking that. Officially, give him 15. And the offense will come back onto the field with a 1st and 10. And now Oakland ready to take the field. And they're hoping to capture some of that magic they had last time out when they were able to put together a scoring drive. But they're still down here, Charles.
Not the major concern, though, because of what you talked about. They scored the last time out. They feel good about themselves. They think their game plan is now in effect. They know how to attack and what plays they want to put together. But they've got to keep it moving in the right direction because, as you did note, they are down on the scoreboard.
A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down. Second down, offense behind the sticks here. 2nd and 13.
Don't let 89 go.
All right, here we go.
Lynch looking to throw on second. Looking deep downfield. It got his man complete. And he makes it all the way down to the 31. It's a big play there for Oakland. 42 yards. First down and 10 now for the offensive group. They come out 5 wide. 3 of them to the right side.
Watch it now, Barney.
On first down, it's Lynch. Drops it underneath to Elliott. And he'll be a couple yards shy of the red zone here at the 22-yard line. It's a gain of 9 yards. And that'll make it second and short.
I'm going to show my age here a little bit. We used to talk about running backs catching the ball as safety valves. Nowadays, they're a big part of the passing offense.
Quit acting like you're so old. You're only 65.
Watch twist.
Set. Blue 90.
93 is the money.
Blue 90.
On second down, Elliott. And he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. It'll be a loss of 1. And just like that, it's third down.
Partner, I think there's a lesson there. Some days you're just having a really tough time, and for the defense, today has been that day. But after that play, what do you learn? You can still make plays even when the other guys having success against you.
Now Lynch. Quick clear here, it's complete. And he will have the first down before he's tackled at the 12. And in a 2-score game, obviously, every play, every third down, like we saw there, magnified. Big pickup.
It was a huge pickup. What they really want, though, is to not even get to third down. They've got to maximize time and conserve as much as possible.
They'll give him 8 on the play, and it'll bring up a second down.
Okay, he's not going to get the first down, but this is still a nice job of buying some time and then running to get to the sideline and get out of bounds and avoid the big hit.
And here comes play number 6 on this drive.
All right, here we go. 3-19. 3-19.
They stay on the ground, but this time it's Elliott. And he's over the line and in for a Raider touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott saving his best for the playoffs with his 3rd touchdown of the game. And the Raiders are back within a score. And he puts it through. So a 7-point game, they'll need a recovery, the touchdown, and an extra point to tie. And the effort snuffed out. The Texans' hands team recovers. Well, 4th quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we've brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number.
Here we go.
Coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 90% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
And he's going to cut it back left here. Touchdown, Houston. And let's not forget he had the receiving touchdown earlier. Now a trio of rushing touchdowns. Quite a performance.
Diversification, that's all you can talk about. His ability to do everything leaves him on the field on every down on offense because you can hand it to him as we've seen. What'd you say, 3 rushing touchdowns? And, of course, throw it to him where he's caught 1 as well.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. And now Oakland ready to take the field. And that last drive, a long drive, but not just that. They had a great air attack going. Do they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were confident enough to do it on the last drive, starting backed up in their own territory, why would you change anything? They've got to be confident about what they're presenting and continue to do so.
Yeah, because the secondary, they really look clueless.
And that was amazing because that drive went, no adjustments, and no big plays by the defense to knock the ball away.
And they'll try to squeeze in one more play here before the 2-minute warning.
Hurry up, here we go. Back 99 Philly, here we go.
He's checking. Crash.
2nd and 10 now. It's Lynch. Flushed out right. Time for a break. And he'll just chuck this one up into row G. It's incomplete. We'll come back to wrap this one up after this. And the offense looking to pick up the first down after the second down incompletion. And looking at Houston defensively, they got the dime set. 6 DBs on third. Got a man over the middle, and it's complete. A good pick up there, 22. A great job pulling that one in from a guy, as we know, who can really blaze. He's got a lot of speed.
And that speed can work for him so many different ways. Sometimes he just takes off and goes and just runs past people. Sometimes you get people to back off so far that you can catch everything underneath. But still, at some point in the game, you probably have to make some contested catches, right? Sometimes you have to go up and beat a defender for the football. He has that in his arsenal as well.
Showed it right there. Throwing, Lynch. He's got time in the pocket. Oh, hit as he throws there, incomplete.
We just saw another example of really good defensive football, which has led to the cushion that they have in this game. Got to him once again, knocked him on the ground, forced an incompletion.
Yeah, they've set the tone. It's one thing to set the tone, another to come in here on the road and set the tone. Third down here for the offense after the incomplete pass. They come up in an empty set. 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end. To throw, and down he goes. The pressure getting to Lynch. Aaron Lynch in there to sack him, and that is 10 for him now on the year. And they're indeed going to go for it here on 4th down. So trailing here in the last quarter. Let's see how this plays out.
Hurry up, here we go.
Here we go. Lynch on 4th down. And this is intercepted, and that should do it. A great read, and it's picked off. The Texans offense now, they get set to head back on the field here. And they'll just simply be looking to build off the confidence of the last time out where they scored a touchdown.
And confidence is powerful, isn't it? When you've scored once, you feel like you can go back out there and get it done again. Doesn't matter what the defense throws at them. They feel like they're in a groove right now, and they want to get out there and show it.
Yeah, hoping to stay in that groove here this go-around.
Double tight. Odd. 5 down. All right, here we go.
Down to a knee here as the Texans look to let the clock roll.
Double tight. Odd. 5 down. Stand up in. Hurry up, here we go. Green 39.
Well, I know at points in this when you wanted to close your eyes because of all the points that were being put up.